So you brought, what is this?
All right. We got zombie dust. To be honest with you, I just picked them off
Look at
the
all
things.
these graphics. These are like, these are all like Orange County, Riverside type of graphics that I would see at my mall that I grew up in.
Good. I hope that's a good thing.
Well, this is all like a skateboard graphics.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
They look cool.
Which one so I don't really do, is it one of these cider?
Yeah, this one's a cider.
Okay, I don't want the cider.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do this
That's what, pale an IPA and a hazy ale.
I like this guy
Yeah.
with the 2 pagers, dude. Did you have a pager? Are you that old?
No.
I'm almost that old.
How old are you?
33. I forgot.
Me too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I never had a pager though.
Well, I'm almost that old. I think if I was 2 years older, 3 years older, then I might have had one. Because I had a cell phone. But that was only because there were cell phones.
Okay.
And if I didn't have that, I would have had a pager.
Gotcha.
I don't even remember how they work.
Somebody calls the pager, it beeps you, and you see it, and you see the number on there, and then you find a payphone or a phone, and you call them.
Okay.
I think so.
What a process.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good to meet you.
In person.
In
yes.
person.
If you're watching this on YouTube, the studio has not changed. I'm actually in New York City right now. I booked another gig, and John Ryan, previous guest on the show, has been kind enough to host at the world-famous FaceTime studios in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, you know what? It's actually I will share that the show, it's not that I'm not doing it anymore.
Okay.
Well, it is that I'm not doing it anymore. But it's that it's in negotiation for a streaming service.
Fuck yeah.
So I didn't want to like keep giving free show if I can get paid for it by these people. So it's been in negotiation for a while, but things are moving slow, but they're moving, and it's looking good lately. So we'll see. Hopefully I can like announce it soon. And if anyone has any sort of smarts, they can figure out what streaming service it is.
Yeah. That's really the development side of stuff and the dealing side of stuff runs so much slower than I thought it would.
Dude, it sucks. It makes me like want to never make a movie because even though I would love to do that, it feels like it's going to take like a minimum of 5 years. Like you hear about people like planning movies for like 10 years. And of course you're doing other stuff on the side, but I don't even want to wait. I don't want to wait. I feel like if there's a script, like why aren't we just producing it now? You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I don't understand why it moves so slow. Maybe because it has to go through all the higher ups and all the stuff that they've prepped for like the year or two before.
Yeah.
Thinking, okay, we're going to shoot this stuff now. But at the same time, I don't know if you read these deadline articles, but I'm astonished at how much turnover there is at the higher ups, like on all the major networks. Like vice president, president of development, president of drama, of like NBC, ABC, CBS, all this stuff.
Shit's moving really fast now.
It's like a year or 2 years,
know?
and they're on to the next, on to the next.
Do you think that reflects bad on the you said these are studios?
Yeah.
Does it reflect bad on the studios, or does that mean that like, you know, they just that's just the life cycle now?
Here's my uneducated and ignorant guess, because I'm not an executive. I'm not on that business side of things. If I want to be hired onto a studio for development, I know it's going to take a while because it takes at least 6 months to shoot a show, right? And edit it, and then you've got another like few months of it being shot or being shown to the public. So let's just say a year, just to be conservative, right?
Yeah.
And that's quick.
And that's quick.
So if I'm with a studio and I'm talking with like the president, the board, everybody, I want to make sure that we all know the direction we're going in. And that's going to take at least a few years to for me at least to get my feet in the ground. I don't know how that's all working out, man.
If you were a filmmaker, would you rather go that route, or would you rather go like this indie route where like you just trying to make a movie for like $100,000? Because at least when you do that, you're doing it now. You know what I mean?
I think it depends on the stories you want to tell. Because I am, thank God, it's been going great. We're doing generals now, and with production companies for me and my buddy, this pilot that we're writing.
What does that mean?
like just general meetings with production companies and development people at those companies.
Okay.
And so the stories we want to tell require a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Like, I know this is a dumb question, but like, what needs a huge budget? All right.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Hi. What's her name again?
This is Penny.
Penny. Hi.
She
Okay.
just wants to say hi. Okay.
know.
Go ahead, Penny. It's okay.
Oh my gosh. I want a dog so bad, but
It's great. It's great.
I have 2 cats. They're great.
That equals a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get 2 cats. You get a dog. But yeah, I'm not saying that, obviously there's movies that require crazy locations, insurance, and cast and all that stuff. Of course, it's going to cost more, but if you take away any, let's say like Moonlight, for example.
Yeah.
Pretty simple picture. Nothing crazy cast wise, meaning like you don't need 300 extras. You don't need gnarly locations. I mean, they basically had like, not that many locations in this thing. They had like a school, they had like a beach, and they had like I think like I don't remember, but it was so can you tell me a little bit at all?
I'll just say this, just because things are moving along with that stuff.
Things move.
Yeah, so like with your stuff, it's hard to kind of divulge a lot. But the stuff, the stories we're wanting to tell require a big budget. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Fuck.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's great if you can make a movie like that, and where it doesn't require extras, crazy locations, stunts, all that jazz. That's awesome. And if it's a great story, go for it.
Yeah.
I love that challenge when I was shooting these comedic webisodes and sketches with my old roommates, and I'm like, okay, how can I make this work for $20, or where can I shoot this guerrilla style? And it works. That's so fucking good for an artist because it makes you work within parameters.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Do you think that parameters are better to work within?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so parameters, okay, let me go to a different thing. That if you think parameters are better for creating things, do you think it's better now that people, I don't want to say you have to be more careful, but things have changed to where like a lot of conversation that we grew up with can't be used today. A lot of, different things are more PC. There's less you can explore unless you do it really carefully. These are parameters. Do you think that's better for creativity?
This is how I'm going to answer this question. If you're learning boxing, you need parameters. You need to learn technique first, right? So there's some structure that's needed. And I feel like the structure you're talking about is a different type of structure, and it can be viewed as an obstacle.
You're right.
When I'm talking about parameters, I'm talking about, hey, this is an awesome script. This is a great feature length that you have. It's a 90-minute. It's a solid script. It could go through a few more rewrites, but right now it's solid. Can you make this into a 20-minute short and film that as a pitch piece? Or no, better yet, now do a 10-minute, write a 10-minute version of this. Okay, great. Now make a trailer for it. And what happens, I believe, is, dude, I'm so hyped up on caffeine right now, just by the way.
It's good. Okay.
What happens is, I believe the artist and the creative's mind starts going, okay, how can I now
problem solving?
Yeah, problem solving it in a very great way, because now you're forced to work in a way that you're not comfortable with. Right. Now, in regards to the PC stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah.
One of our scripts that me and my buddy are writing is not PC. You're either going to love it or hate it. Yeah. However, that being said, it's like what South Park does. They're not just, maybe offensive for the sake of being offensive. No, there's actually a lot of cleverness.
It's actually extremely progressive if you like really pay attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So finding a way to do that's the challenge.
Yeah.
In this day and age. Maybe.
So that sounds good. Sounds like a good thing to me.
What about you?
I kind of like it.
Oh, sorry. We got to take a quick quick break. But if you're listening, stay tuned with John Ryan. We'll be right back. And We're back.
I'm rolling up my sleeves. I think maybe I'd look better if I did that. It looks good because I see you out there fucking getting shredded lately.
Oh, thank you.
You're out. No, well, don't say thank you like that. Like it's like you are. I don't know if you are or not, but
I've been going hard lately.
You've been going hard.
Yeah.
You just a bunch of sweat photos every day. But I've gained maybe like 10 pounds since like the quarantine. Honestly, since the quarantine peaked, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it didn't happen in the beginning. I was in great shape for like the majority of the first year of 2020, and then towards like the end, I just I don't know. I think I just got comfortable. I got a girlfriend. I still got her. Today's our anniversary.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, happy anniversary.
I ditched our lunch to do this.
Did you really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, oh shit.
No.
I feel special.
No. We're meeting tonight. She couldn't meet till later tonight. But what I was gonna say about
The PC stuff.
About the PC stuff is like when I write things or when I do them, it just gives me more buttons to press. I feel like and I don't want to like make waves. I want people to do the South Park thing where they have to think a little bit more to understand what I'm actually saying. And if you can't do that, then that's yeah, there's going to be a bit of a problem. But I think that that does make it a very nice obstacle, because if you come out the right way, you're a genius, you know? Okay, so I'll say, oh man, I don't even know if I could say, see, because here's the thing, is like I write a line, I wrote this like monologue, not very long, but it's just a theory that this character has. It's just free thought. It's not like this person actually thinks this is true. He's just doing the math of what could be true, right? So basically you take, I don't even know if I could say some of these words.
We'll bleep them out if you're really concerned.
Okay, you tell, because I don't think it's that bad.
Okay.
I'm gonna just say the word.
Let me just make a note for my producer Peyton,
okay,
so I don't forget.
I'm gonna say the word that I'm gonna say, and then no, I'm just gonna say the thing. Okay. So it's basically someone on the phone.
Yeah.
And you don't know who he's on the phone with, but he's talking about homophobia.
Oh.
And he's saying that it's labeled incorrectly because a phobia is something you don't choose. Like, would you get mad at somebody for being an arachnophobic? Like, no. So why would you be mad at somebody for being a homophobic? So he goes, we need to label it something differently, or we need to treat it like an actual fear. So if we were to treat it like a fear, he talks about this study that he came across, which is like arachnophobics. If you have like a major fear of spiders, and you do something called exposure therapy, you go up to a spider and you look at it, and it's supposed to like extremely like freak out, and then you pet the spider, right?
Yeah.
Tarantula, whatever, something docile, and that is incredibly traumatic. There's an episode of This American Life that I listened to get this information, but and they say when you go back, like, because the idea is that you have some traumatic thing in your past that gave you that fear in the first place. So if you have an arachnophobia thing and you go pet a spider, that replaces your experience with a spider with new trauma, which is actually a pleasant experience. Nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
So maybe if gay people just raped homophobes, then maybe they would not be afraid of gay people anymore. Now that's just taking the math of, it doesn't have to be rape either, but it could be, it could be. I was trying to form a tweet about it,
yeah,
but it's not gonna work.
No,
there has to be some character has to be losing his mind to get that payoff at the end, and but where I landed at was like, so gay people need to pet homophobes. But it's or homophobes need to pet. Anyway, I'm working on like how exactly this needs to be delivered. But what I'm saying is this character is just kind of like applying this idea that like, why are we calling? A lot of people misidentify what something is. So homophobic, I don't think is even the right word. I think you can be afraid of homophobics, but I think like it's a fear.
Yeah. You know, there's a few things that popped up in my mind. I love the way that you are pushing and testing and finding the boundaries of where this joke or where this tweet or where this idea is coming from. Immediately, I thought of like it being a South Park episode, right? Of like how they're showing arachnophobes are, you know, they're showing them like, you know, the spiders on their hand and they're like petting it. And then, you know, the South Park episode. And here we have the people who are homophobic and they're like petting like a, you know, like
exactly.
like a gay guy.
Right,
and they're like, oh, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
So that's where my mind, and so I get that there's a joke in there somewhere. And
yeah. You see the workings. You don't see me going, hey, let me figure out how to say the word rape, or let me figure out how to say the word homophobic. It's the third time I've said rape, by the way. Fourth time.
You know, that's part of, I think, art. That's part of writing, figuring out why it works, why it doesn't work, what audience it will work to, what audience it won't work to. I mean, that's why stand-up comedians are always testing their stuff out, because the only way to find out for them is to actually say it out loud in front of a group of people. Writer, you can rewrite it a bunch of times, have people read it, and then obviously you get your feedback that way.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. It's unfortunate, though, because immediately people, and it's this faceless group of online people who will immediately jump on you for even, or maybe they'll watch this and be like, oh my God, I can't believe he even would even go to that limit. Well, of course, he doesn't know. We don't know the boundaries unless we go there and go, oh, okay, I understand. I just read something online that the Jeopardy host, did you read this?
Alex. Oh yeah, he quit because of something.
Yeah, so I'll read you guys if you're listening and you don't know what's going on. 9 days after he was tapped to become the new host of Jeopardy, Mike Richards is out after details surfaced about his past conduct and statements he made on a podcast series. He will remain as the show's executive producer. Apparently, he made some disparaging remarks and jokes about Jews, women, and other groups on a comedy podcast in 2013 and 2014. Now, I don't know what exactly he said, but what is that? Like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. It's 2021, 7 years ago. Is he constantly making jokes like this? Is he making like offensive humor? And like, I don't understand. Where is the line drawn? And what, like, okay, so this guy, I was reading people are like, why is he still working as his executive producer? I'm like, okay, then what do you want to do? You want to kill him? You want to like,
yeah, like what do you just want him out of the news? Like, I guess like you'd want his name. Like, what is this? What is this thing where like these? They understand that they're humans, right? Do they want them to be fucking homeless?
Right. I don't understand the end game.
Yeah. Like, what is it? They have to work. They're in entertainment. Like, what do you want?
I understand. Maybe some of them feel like they're doing something good by like, oh no, you shouldn't say it. Yeah, I get it. Like there are groups of people who have been hated on because of their sexual orientation or their gender or whatever, or their religious beliefs. But like that, I mean, this guy's not going out, you know, on a horse with a white hood. Like that's totally something different.
I do think that there's a difference between somebody tweeting like he should be in jail or whatever, and that's nothing almost. Like it's almost like, why are we even entertaining those tweets or whatever that is, right?
See, so are we giving them power by acknowledging the extremist?
Yeah, I
tweets?
think so.
Yeah,
I think so because if you have somebody who's saying absurd things just in the world, like out loud, then that's nothing. Who cares? And we have to treat comments on Facebook or on whatever the same way. Because it's just some guy just being like, or someone mad about something. If they start like a movement, I guess, I don't know, man. It's hard to say, but I would say that like, you know, it doesn't seem like. Do you think these comments added up to him dropping out?
Yeah, that's what they said.
So that's the problem. Okay.
Yeah, because then the higher ups are like, well, you know. People weren't already happy with you becoming the Jeopardy host. By the way, who gives a shit who becomes the next Jeopardy host? Okay, like you're like, I do.
Well, no, it's so weird we're talking about Jeopardy because I just fucking watched it today.
Yeah.
But I watched it with when Louis C.K. was a contestant.
Okay.
And I don't know how you feel about all that stuff. I went and saw Louis C.K. at Madison Square Garden recently. The guy is sharp. The guy is fucking back, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great. He's a master. He is just a master of comedy, and there's just no denying it. And I mean, I understand. You know, me and my girlfriend sit there and watch his show Louis, like it's fucking film school. We sit there and like analyze. It's so good. He's a great filmmaker, and it's a shame that his like movie career got shut down before it even really started. But yeah, I watched Jeopardy today, and it was Alex Trebek. Rest in peace. But I think the only reason people are concerned is that's who he's. Alex Trebek is like a national treasure. You know,
for sure, but you're never gonna fill his shoes. They're never gonna find another Alex Trebek.
Well, they're gonna try.
Well, of course they're gonna try, but I hate the immediate. Listen, if you're online and you're like oh, I can't believe they got this guy to be the next Jeopardy. That is such a waste of time. Like, cool, man, do your thing. It's like the people who leave mean comments on YouTube videos. Yeah. Like, do you pay taxes? Do you do anything productive to society? Man. If you leave like a positive comment, or you're actually having like, hey, I got a question about this, that's different. But if you're just there to leave mean comments or be just an asshole, wow, you don't have any goals in life.
Yeah.
Do you?
I have a ton of no, I don't. I have a couple like clips that have went viral, and a couple of or one short film that went viral on Jesus Christ, on YouTube, and I get comments daily on it. I see them because I have the notifications on my phone, and I like reading them because they're overall really good comments. Yeah. And but every now and then I'll get one that's like, the writing sucked, but everything else was good. And I'm like, how could you say? What do you mean? Like the dialogue, like, or the, like, I don't understand. But I always comment back. I've started to take this new angle. I'm gonna give you an example. I have a friend, Chad Jamian, and we're not very close, but he's a friend of mine. He's very, very funny on all social media stuff. What's his name? Chad Jamian. Okay. He's hilarious. He's a accomplished actor and been in a lot of commercials and stuff. But he's hilarious. But
I know Chad. Yeah. I don't know him, but I know of him. Yeah,
he's great. So I was with him at some theater, whatever the fuck, some theater thing, and they came around with like a clipboard, and they were like, "Do you want to put your email down to fucking make us send you shit?" And I was like, "No." Like, I was like audibly just like, "Get the fuck out of here," you know what I mean? Like, no, get us out of here. And then Chad signed up, and he wrote his email, and he's like, "When do we get the first email?" And it was so great. And I was like, oh man, I would have way rather handled it like that than the way that I did. I seem like an asshole. And he's almost like making fun of you to your face, and you don't know. Like, what a chess move, you know what I mean? Like, it's great. So I started trying to do things like that in my life. Yeah. So when I get a comment like somebody, yeah, everything was great, but the script fucking sucked, I just comment like, well, let me know what you want me to do next time. I really want to like do what you think is good.
You're so.
And they don't respond, and I win.
Yeah.
That's it.
You that's actually a great tactic, and I love that.
I've done this several times. It's great.
I have another tactic, because I'll be honest with you. When I first used to get my, the first mean comments that would come in, I was so affected by it, because any work I put out there, even this podcast and anything, I just want to make people happy, laugh, or learn something about something they didn't learn before, or make them feel like they're part of these guys' night podcasts I do. I want them to feel like they're part of our group, even if they don't have that. That's what I love doing, because there are certain podcasts that have made me feel like that, and so it made me feel comforted. So I'm just trying to share that. And so when somebody writes something mean, or like, this dumbass kid has no idea what he's talking about, or something like that, I'm just like, I used to get so like heartbroken. Like, what? Was it really a bad show?
Was this after you've been in a lot of shit? Like this moment that you're talking about?
I don't know. It happened, I guess, almost a year or two ago. I started to get those first ones, and then sometimes they explode, and then sometimes it's just, I stopped reading them, because I was like, oh man, this is like really bad. But then it could be like 9 nice comments and 1 bad one, and I'd keep focusing on the bad one, and I hated that. So I just ignored everything, and I was like, I don't have time for this emotionally or mentally. And then I'm at a good place now where if one of those comments do come in, I'm I'm just like, oh, I don't have time for this. I'm so blessed in my life. It would be a shame for me to be emotionally wrecked by this.
I got one better for you, or I just got another one for you, which is, I think that's another obstacle. That's another thing that you can see as like, even just as like a writer, to be like, what would be a funny response? That's how I feel about every time I respond to any. Like, let me use this as a small writing exercise to go, how do I make this person go, oh, shit, all right, never mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how can I, because that's really what you're doing as like, or myself as a writer for the screen, is writing stuff so that I can make the audience feel like a thing.
Yeah.
Right? And the more specific that you can get with making them feel that thing, you know, it's great. Is that making you cold? Because you could it's making me a little bit cold.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Okay,
let's turn it off.
No, leave it.
You sure?
Yeah, it's oscillating. It's oscillating, so it's not pointing directly at us. So it's all good.
That is oscillating. Yeah.
What are you working on out here?
Recurring on Law and Order.
Am I interviewing you, or are you interviewing me?
Honestly, I thought we were just talking, but am I answering most of the questions?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I haven't thought about it, but
I gotta say, it's so much nicer to do this in person.
Yeah, it always is.
And I know your whole podcast is the opposite of that. And I gotta commend you because it's still so engaging, even though they're not in the room. And kudos, dude. How do you break that barrier for yourself?
Well, because it just takes a lot more editing. I have to make it feel like a normal conversation.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So like, if something like drags for a while, you can take a note.
Oh, no, I'm just checking the time.
Conversation.
How to be a good podcaster.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit more editing, and then it has like, I kind of can feel, it's actually a skill that I definitely have got from doing my podcast. For anybody listening that doesn't know what I'm talking about, I do a podcast called FaceTime. It's on YouTube, and I talk to a mannequin that sits across the table from me, but the mannequin's head is an iPad, and I FaceTime with people, and I just talk to actors, directors, writers, people that I think are interesting and talented, and so that's the whole premise of the show. Now, what I do to make it feel more like a conversation is take out those like Wi-Fi gaps, you know what I mean? And those things that feel weird. And, it could be a little bit doctored here and there, but I mean, whatever. And what I've learned as my skill that I was getting at is basically I'm thinking for the edit. So if something dropped out, I'll just ask that question exactly the same as I asked it before there was that Wi-Fi skip in the iPad or something. And then I'll cut out that little part. And then so it just seemed like it just went seamlessly into that.
So smart.
So many things like that I just have to do like boom, like live, like right away. Mm-hmm. And I love that it made my brain think. I love that it made, right now there's like this invisible connection from this my head to this camera, the lights, making sure they're staying on, this thing, like everything, and so if and when I get this show picked up, I'll have somebody doing all that for me. So that'll be fucking great. And it must be great, right?
Bro, I specifically don't want to do what you do because it takes me out of sitting down and just focusing on the guest. Because that's all I want to focus on. It's already enough where I have to focus on the little ad breaks that I have, which aren't that bad. But we're in the middle of a flow or something, and I got to go, 1 second, let me get this ad break in here, which is... Yeah, it is what it is. But like focusing on the mics is what I have to do whenever I'm just recording on the go, like in some location. I just came back from Mexico, and I had to do that. And it was just...
Wait, so how have you been recording? Because obviously you don't have this at your hotel room, so what have you been doing?
Bro, tripod, this camera... It's like stationary and a little audio recording
so this
device.
Is like Deluxo.
This is like my studio. Yeah. This is like the studio I have, and so that's why it's great. Okay. And my producer Peyton, shout out to him. He does an incredible job.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about anything because he's just so professional. And then I have somebody else handling all the social media posts, Alexandra.
How do you feel about having TikTok stars on your podcast?
I'll tell you how I feel right after this break.
All right, bro. Yeah, let me know.
All right, we're back. TikTok stars. And may I ask what specifically? Because I've had a few on there. and they're not the typical TikTok stars I think most people are thinking about who dance in front of the.
No, those aren't TikTok stars. Those are just girls that are like 14, and I'm talking more about. I'm talking more about on paper the idea of like TikTok people that are extremely famous, because TikTok really is a crapshoot. You can go, your life can change, dude. I don't even know this guy very well, but we worked together a couple times, but his name's Ricky Montgomery, and he's huge on TikTok now. What happened was, he wasn't anybody, but he had always been making music. I'd been a fan of his music. We were friends on Vine years ago.
Yeah.
Like, he was a kid, and I was hiring him to like do stuff because I was doing like music videos and things. And out of nowhere during the pandemic, one of his songs went extremely viral. Just somebody duetted it, and that decision to click that fucking button, whoever did that, changed his life forever. He just sold out his first solo tour.
Wow.
That's insane. But it always is. It's the same. I think I feel like I brought this up on our FaceTime podcast on your episode, where it's like there's that old saying, like preparation meets opportunity equals success.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this kid had been making music for so long. Now, if I'm being honest, like the music isn't necessarily like my vibe, but I could recognize that it was really good. You know what I mean? Like, the songwriting was really good, and I felt like I could really like get behind what this guy's doing, because he's got a very consistent style. It's very much so made for like impressionable kids that are like at that perfect age that you want to get fans at. Like, it was perfect, and like he wasn't thinking about it from like a business standpoint, or else he would have been not a musician. But he. What I'm getting at is, like, he is now like kind of a TikTok star. So when you have TikTok stars on, are you trying to look deeper into that stuff, or do you look at just like face value? Do I like you or not?
Well, the most recent TikTok quote unquote star I had, his name is Dr. Parkinson's, and he's this young kid, teenager, I believe. Yeah.
He's a doctor. He's Doogie Howser. You had Doogie Howser.
Oh, he might as well be.
Yeah.
He makes those giant Tesla coils in his backyard with wireless electricity. Yeah.
I know this kid.
Yeah, Dr. Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Amazing human being.
Wow.
And I wanted to have him on because the stuff he's building and the stuff he's like, I wouldn't say obsessed with, but he loves the 1920s. Anything from that era, he just lives in it 24/7. And I just wanted to get to know this guy some more because I found him so interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just it's not like you're going to get these big life lessons from him or anything like, because, he's still like a teenager, he's a young kid, but just getting to know why he likes the 1920s so much, and what his obsession is with Tesla, and his, why he believes that free electricity is better, and how he builds all this stuff, where he gets his passion from it. It's just fun to talk to. And so maybe a little insight on certain people like that I think is cool. Oh, there's another guy, which I want to do another interview with him. He's the Paharikawa guy. He is like he lives in Australia. He's Pakistani, and he does a lot of history TikToks. And his voice is just super unique. And so I just wanted to talk to him more. But unfortunately, he was in his car while we were doing that. And I was like, okay, we should find a time. And plus, he's in Australia, so the time difference is hard. But I want to do another one with him because I feel like it wasn't the best.
Oh, dude, I got a story about the whole time difference thing from Australia. So it's like 2012, and I had like written down all my goals. It just became 2012, I think.
Yeah.
I had written down all my goals. I was so excited to get them all done. Read for 15 minutes before you go to sleep. Things like that. Little tiny things. Work out 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Things that would just make you a better person, right? And then I meet this fucking girl on Instagram, and I like, wow, she's so pretty, and somehow we start talking, and dude, I spend 8 months staying up till like 5 a.m. talking to her every night, because for her that's like 8 p.m. I don't know the exact time difference, but it's something like that. I had to wait till she was off work every day to call and talk for like 2 hours, at least 4 or 5 nights a week, for 8 months. but check this out. So then, because the whole thing is like, oh, you're going to come out here eventually, right? Mm-hmm. So it's I got the carrot in front of me. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to hang out. I'm going to FaceTime with this girl every night. And so we do it as for a long fucking time. And towards the end, because she was about to come to LA.
Yeah.
That's where I lived at the time. And so I was like, okay, let's start talking about like what you want to do while you're out here. She's like, well, I got a lot of friends out there, so I'll probably be with them. And I'm like, I kind of feel like we've been talking for a while, and like we're even saying things like I love you, and it seems like
whoa.
Yeah. Like all that, dude. We're doing everything. We're having sex on the phone and shit. This is
whoa.
Yeah. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, no, what is
That's the phone. You shake it, and then it lets her know that. Yeah.
I do that.
So we're doing everything. And then the 8 months comes up, and she fucking comes. No. Let me back up. I look up. She posts like a photo, right? And so I'm like, "Hey, babe," like we're calling each other babe and shit at this point.
Oh my god! All right.
And I'm telling her like, "Hey, I just saw this photo that you posted, and when was that?" Because she like looked amazing in it, and she was like, "Oh, it was last night." I just want to know if she like went out on the weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, yeah, it was this weekend." So I'm like, okay, well, something wasn't feeling right? Because she was talking about like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with my friends, I'm not gonna hang out with you, but maybe I'll see you. And I was like, what the fuck? So I look back. She posted that photo like 4 years prior to that, and so I'm like, okay, is this no? It's not a fake profile because we're FaceTiming, right?
Oh.
So I can see her. And then so I'm trying to tell her like, hey, I feel like I've sent you a lot of dick pics and you never really send me like naked shit. And so she like sends me some stuff. Turns out she's been sending me old nude photos and pretending that she was like still skinny. And she was just like fat, but not in the face. So when we're FaceTiming, now yeah. And I'm not like exaggerating here, but I'm probably what she was like advertising was probably 40 pounds less than what she was.
Okay.
My biggest issue with that is that I wouldn't have given a shit if she said, yeah, that used to be me, but like now I'm a little chunkier. I'd have been like, okay, well, I don't give a fuck. Can't wait to see you in a month or something like that,
Yeah.
So I see her. I'm like, hey, come meet at this place, and she's like, I'm jet lagged. Like I had to fucking force her to come meet me after talking for so long. So we meet, and sure enough, she's fucking huge, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever. This is fine, and we hang out, and we just completely don't get along. Completely nothing. Like there's nothing there. In fact, it's almost hostile.
What?
Yeah, just nothing. It's so fucking different in person.
Whoa.
Yeah. But I went through that Australian whole what the fuck is that even? I mean, she would get jealous. Yeah, go ahead. What are you guys say?
No. Do you think she was so insecure after the months of, false advertising? And like you said, you didn't care if she would have just told you or showed you the, real what she looked like now, which is funny to me because when she was FaceTiming, I guess she was just showing her face.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she wasn't. Yeah.
So she never showed down.
She never showed her dick, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where she had a dick?
She had a dick.
Oh.
No, she didn't have a dick.
Okay. I didn't know what... I was like, okay, he's bisexual or whatever.
No, this was 2012. Those didn't exist yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe she felt so insecure, maybe, and then she didn't want you to be like, oh, this is not what you said, so maybe she got super aggressive. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That's the only
I mean,
thing in my mind I could possibly think of. I don't want to call her a psycho because I don't know her, but like that's so unfortunate.
I think that also like I didn't and like shout out to my girlfriend, but my girlfriend currently like really taught me how to like really love somebody. You know what I mean? And I looking back at that, like almost any time I said like I love you, it was like I didn't know what the fuck I was saying, right? Because I love. What does that mean? I love you. I don't, because I didn't like so many things of the people that I told that I love you to. I hated so many things about all these people I told I love you to, and not to say that, completely discredit my strong feeling towards these people, but truly loving someone for every what's it called? Navi. No, credit. What is it? Credit?
Crook and crevice.
I can't do
crevice.
This. Crevice and
crook and crevice.
Nook and cranny.
Nook and cranny. Okay.
Every nook and cranny of this person.
Crook and crevice. I've been saying that's so wrong.
Just trying so hard not to say tranny, but
canceled.
Yeah, so yeah, I know. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, I really wanted to
oh man.
I wanted to love her. I just didn't know the fuck how. And my brain was so lost at the time. I mean, I was 20, 24 or something like that. And I knew that you wait a while before you say I love you, but it was just the same thing as that like homophobic joke. It was more like I was doing the math. I was like, okay, you wait like 6 months, then you say I love you. Like I was waiting for checkpoints rather than like, I was doing it in a much more of like a mathematic way than a natural way. So
yeah, there's no guidebook to that though. When you're growing up, nobody really teaches you that.
We need like a love class or a relationship class in high school.
That would be helpful, but the problem with that is who's teaching it.
Yeah.
And what are they teaching? Then you got a whole different curriculum.
Well, I mean, there's a whole thing where like people are upset about the fact that they want to teach like transgender studies in high school and they don't know which class to teach it in. Right? So like if it's right, they don't want to teach it in science because it's not technically science yet or whatever.
Social studies? No.
Social studies is possible, but that's a little bit more history driven, right? But I think it's maybe a health class. I had a health class in high school.
I don't think it should be a health class either, because social studies is what, the study of social interactions, right?
I don't even fucking remember.
Society.
But I remember social studies for me was like history, a lot of history.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And so.
Oh, okay.
There, the history of trans people and their rights. That doesn't seem to. Like, why does an idiot like me can figure out a solution right away, and then the people,
Yeah, you killed it, dude.
I know. I'm so smart.
When you dream. Do you remember all your dreams?
Oh my God, I cannot believe you're bringing this up. I just finished a book on yoga dreaming. I just finished a book. I just slurred my words.
Oh.
Yoga dreaming, like this Tibetan book on yoga dreaming and
yoga dreaming
practice. Yeah.
What do you mean? What is yoga dreaming?
So, this book is created by these Tibetan monks who, to further their spiritual evolution, will continue to practice certain things in their sleep. But they have to have such a heightened awareness that they are dreaming to do these practices to further themselves.
What, are you talking about lucid?
That's part of it, yeah. Being extreme, like every time, like being so aware in their daily life through these practices that as they're falling asleep, they are aware they're falling asleep and can control themselves falling into a deep sleep and getting into the dream state. Because when you fall asleep, all of a sudden, you're just you wake up and you're like, oh shit, I had those crazy dreams you didn't even aware. So I've been practicing some things before I go to bed, and it's been helping me have extremely lucid dreams.
Oh, what can I do to lucid dream better before I go to bed?
Okay, so first and foremost, in your daily life, do you ever have moments of like pure awareness where you're like, holy shit, I'm John Ryan in this lifetime, and I am like walking down this street in Brooklyn.
Right.
Wow, this is where life has taken me. In this point, I'm about to see my girlfriend. Oh my gosh, I'm a human being. I'm this soul existing and whatever. Do you ever have stuff like that?
Honestly, probably like 3 or 4 times a day. Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. Try to extend that amount of awareness, because you know what happens when that happens. Something will catch your monkey brain and be like, oh yeah, and then you'll be back in automatic mode where you're not aware anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So practice that, and then this is of course all from the book and some other stuff I've read. The second thing is, anytime you enter any type of doorway or arch, knock on the side and go, am I dreaming? And then you go, okay, I'm not dreaming.
Why?
Well,
okay.
So you practice that, it becomes a habit. I love how you're like, why? And I'm like, I'll tell you why. Just don't interrupt me. No.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
Tell me why. I gotta know now before you continue. I did like plead that too. That was a very earnest why.
It was. So what happens is you create this habit, and it becomes an unconscious habit. And so whenever you're in a dream and you go through a doorway, you automatically knock on the door, and you're like, "Oh, am I dreaming?" And then, yes, I am dreaming, and that's worked for me.
Okay, so can you explain in your dream when you realize you're dreaming?
Yes. Most recent one was this. I was in such a vivid dream. And even in the dream, I was like, oh, I'm not dreaming right now. This is real life.
Yeah.
And then I saw a mirror, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I wasn't me.
Yeah.
I was this redheaded guy.
Oh,
And I was like, that's not me. Oh, shit, I'm dreaming right now. See you later, guys. And I just fly away from whatever the situation was. And I just flew. And I flew out of there. Now, that's the easiest way to start lucid dreaming. Another way is right as you're falling asleep. Do you take naps?
I took a nap right before you got here.
Okay.
That's why I look wonderful and feel wonderful.
Try it whenever you do look wonderful. You have a glow to you.
I'm slurring too, though. By the way, that was
How many beers have you had?
2.
2?
Not
Okay.
even 2. This isn't even done.
I'm pretty buzzed and caffeinated, so I feel great.
Okay.
I'm not even finished with this. I should finish this. So is to be aware as you're napping and start imagining like a landscape, like mountains and a lake, and just start imagining that in your mind, and it just becomes realer and realer, and you start seeing more details and more details. And then if the landscape changes, that's fine. Just don't be thrown out of it. Just kind of stay in there. Don't force anything. Just take the visual experiences in your mind as they're happening, and don't react too much. Just be aware.
So, I know it made it seem like I never lucid dream, but I lucid dream all the time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I do it all the time.
You just asked me,
Yeah.
how do I lucid dream?
Well, I thought the listeners might enjoy,
Okay,
sort of tutorial.
That's good.
But yeah, I do a lot of these things. A lot of things that I do is, one, because it's such a common practice in my life, is look at my phone.
Yeah.
And also I take pictures of everything. So every time I try to do that and the phone is scrambled or the phone won't take a picture or something's wrong,
Yeah.
I know I'm dreaming. So in my
smart.
life, in dreams, I see weird shit because it's a dream, and I go, I got to take a photo of this, and I go to do it. And if it won't do it or something's off, like, I feel like I have like also enough tech knowledge that if I can't fix it, like as simple as the phone taking a photo, I'm dreaming. You know what I mean? So technology is always scrambled in dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And also light sources are always don't go off and on. So if you go to flip a switch and it doesn't go off and on, you're dreaming.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
These are 2 easy ones that I have. Dude, I have a crazy experience that I had with dreaming, actually. I had like a reoccurring nightmare, and I got rid of it. And it was thanks to Jackie Chan.
Oh, shit. I remembered my dream last night. Go ahead.
No, tell me your dream before you get it.
No. I was with my 2 uncles who I respect greatly. They're extremely pious men. And
Are they married?
not together. No.
Oh, okay.
They're just separate. Yeah.
Okay.
But they're amazing human beings. And in the dream, I had a dream before that, and he was asking me, what were you dreaming about? And I'm like, oh, I'm dreaming about this, this, and this. And he was telling me what it meant in the dream.
Oh, that's kind
and then the other uncle stepped in. He's like, hey, how are you? Are you having dreams? That's good. That's good. And I was like, yeah. This is all in Arabic, of course. And then the second one.
Wait, you know what language it's in?
Yeah. I can hear it.
I feel like that's uncommon.
Yeah.
That you know what language it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The second one was I was in my old grandparents' house, but it didn't look exactly like it. And I was inside, and I was trying to find a weapon. And then all of a sudden, one of the swords gets thrown, and I knew it was a demon in there. So I grabbed one of the swords, and I knew it was invisible, and it was trying to fight, and I was just fighting, and I woke up.
Yeah.
I was saying a prayer as I was fighting it, and I woke up like going, ah, ah, ah. And I woke up like, when you're scared and you wake up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that when I woke up, and I was like, oh, man. I get really into it.
Yeah, because there's like so much we don't do what we want to do in life. Like we just don't. Like when I wait to cross the street because it's red, I don't want to wait. So like that's why this movie Free Guy is going to be so good. I think it's going to be such a fun like summer movie.
Yeah. Side note: go into it just wanting to have fun, and you're going to enjoy it 1,000 times more.
You've seen it?
No. That's the best way to enjoy those type of films.
Right.
Don't expect Schindler's List.
No, it's yeah.
Just go in there, have fun.
Yeah.
Just go for the
exactly.
ride. Anyway,
Right.
go ahead.
Yeah. So because it really seems like oh dude, have you seen Into the Matrix on Hulu?
No.
Oh, so it's all okay. So I fucked myself up. I went to a little bit of a serious subject, but I flew back to LA for a little while for like 2 weeks because my dad was in the hospital with Delta.
Oh my gosh.
It was really bad.
I'm so sorry.
And I couldn't visit him, all that shit. Everything you hear. I stayed in a hotel room.
Yeah.
And I had to like FaceTime with him, and I was seeing him die essentially. Like it was really, it sucked, and like I'm getting a little emotional now, but
I'm so sorry.
It really, dude, that shit's real and it's out there. But but when I was in the hotel room, all I could do was watch fucking movies because my mom is there too, but she had Delta also, but she was like starting to feel better, and my dad started to feel worse. And so, I would see my mom for like we would social distance outside and wear a mask, and I would bring her dinner every night. But I had all day to do nothing because I took time off work because there's no fucking way I could have worked while I genuinely thought my dad was gonna die. And anyway, so I'm staying in this hotel room. Now I get back to the fun thing. I started just watching random shit on YouTube, and one of them, on Hulu, and I watched this thing called A Glitch in the Matrix. And now you can't necessarily like watch it being like this is the truth. You just kind of got to watch it being like, let me just have fun. It's the same thing, right? But it's straight up about simulation theory. And there's one guy that in it that talks about like trying to question the simulation and being like, just like wink at me, simulation. You know what I mean? So he'll think of like a purple fish and just be like, walk around and be like, just show me a purple fish. Just show me your purple fish. And then like, sure enough, somewhere in the walk, he'll see like a purple fish. And he's like, I walk down the street all the time. I've never fucking seen this. And it's probably been there, but I've never noticed it. You know? I'm gonna throw up.
It was a burp I was trying to contain. I'm sorry.
So I feel like there's things that you can do in this life that you may think is a simulation to just kind of be like, what's going on out there? Now, what happened is, so I'm in this hotel room, so I just like back to back another movie. So you talk about your friend, the TikTok guy, Mr. Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Who's for some reason just into their 20s. I watched this thing about, it's called Life After Life or something like that. It's on Netflix, and it's about, one of the episodes is about reincarnation.
Yeah, I believe in that.
You believe in that?
100%.
Have you watched this?
No.
Oh, dude, you got to watch this. There's these kids, this guy, for like 20 years, he's studied kids that have these, like, they're like 3 years old, 4 years old, and they're talking about some fucking other life that they had, that they never had.
Oh, Mr. Ryan, I got a couple stories for you then, sir.
Yeah, we have.
Well,
I'm just making sure that these cards don't run out of shit.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I got the timer right here in front of me too. Continue what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then we have. You know what? No, this is what we're gonna do. If you're listening live on Adobe Radio, thank you for tuning in. If you want to continue listening to the full episode, make sure you watch us on YouTube tomorrow morning. Just type in Wesam's World, John Ryan, latest episode, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Thank you for tuning in live. John Ryan, check out his podcast, Face to FaceTime. John Ryan is Dead is your...
John Ryan is Dead is without an
Instagram.
H on Instagram.
Great. And so tune in. Thanks for tuning in. And leave a comment below on if you have any reincarnation stories as well. If you're watching on YouTube, and if you're lucid dreaming, if you do one of the steps, make sure you let us know how it goes. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in live. Can I be honest with you? This is probably one of my favorite episodes we've done so far.
Me and you?
Or I've done.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
There is something about your vibe and your professionalism and just, It's always a blast when you hit it off with somebody you don't really know right away.
There's definitely a match, if I can like say this. There's
Mm-hmm.
definitely like a match feeling for sure with you. It feels like there's like we have a future of doing something, whether it's just friendship or it's working or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's cool for sure.
You're the type of director who I want to make sure, and and it's just for most projects, but there's something more with it. Like, you're the type of director where I want to make sure you're getting what you need for your story. Like, I want to make sure you're really happy with what I'm giving to the story, because that's my job as an actor. And I think actors forget that. A lot of actors.
What do you think they do instead of that?
It's about them. They're not thinking that, oh, this feels right for me in this moment because this is, and they might be right, but hey, this is not about what feels right for Wesam Quiche as the actor in this, playing this character in this moment. No, this is about John's story that he's telling through the perspective of his directing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that mentality is amazing to have. I do also, though, I really do like sometimes being the director that when I see somebody struggling with it, like I wrote something as simple as like, all right, well, be safe, like some line like that, and they didn't sound right saying those words, and I was like, what? Can you just say it a different way? Like, how would you do that beat? And they were like, I would say be safe, have fun. And even though that wasn't what I was trying to, that's not the line I wanted, but it sounded so normal that it wouldn't, it's almost like when people watch something, you start to pay attention to like a tiny little thing. If it bothers you, I know a lot of people that I'm friends with, like, can't stand the continuity if there's an over the shoulder and you can see the person about to talk, but they're not really talking. People can't stand that. I personally don't give a fuck about that. I think it's like, well, I didn't do my job if you're paying attention to that, something that small. But with like somebody, if they say something and they don't say the word all right the way that you wrote the word all right, then you got to change it. So I'm always down for meeting in the middle, but if you're a good enough actor like you are, you're able to say, let me come to you. It's like, in Sandlot, when Benny sends Smalls out and he's like, I don't know how to catch. And he's like, just put your mitt in the sky. I'll take care of the rest. Like, that's you. And then sometimes I like that to be me, where I can go, just stand there and I'll take care of the rest. I'll make you look good.
You just hit upon the last chapter in Musashi's Book of Five Rings, the Book of Air. Have you heard of this?
You're such an intellectual. I love this.
No, it's one of those books. As an artist, a director, producer, whatever, you need to read it, because in the last chapter he talks about
Five Rings. No, not five. Something about directing.
It's the Book of Five Rings, but everything can be applied to.
Oh, never mind.
Like,
Okay,
he's a samurai, 60 life and death duels.
I read a different book.
Okay. Yeah, he was an amazing samurai since the age of 13. Has won 60 life and death duels, and went to the woods to figure out why he was so good at what he does. Wrote the Book of Five Rings, and they can be applied to everything in life. Nice. So, you know how we talked about structure in the very beginning of this podcast? Yeah. Which, side note, by the way, I know we left off. We were going to talk about something else. Remember that?
I forgot what it was.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up because it was something really important. And it's going to drive me
crazy.
I
can remember. I have podcast brain worked on right now, so it'll come back.
So, in the beginning, we talked about how structure is so important.
I already got it back. I know what it was.
Awesome. Technique. I believe you got to learn technique and really apply that and structure, especially when you're starting out and you're a novice. This Book of Air, the last chapter talks about throwing it all away. You can be everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So being flexible enough for any situation as an actor or a director to be like, okay, you know what? I know I have a certain style, but I've got to be flexible enough to meet him halfway at this point. Otherwise, we're not going to be telling the story we need.
Yeah. So same shoot that I was talking about here, but the other character. I mean, this is a commercial, so it's all like pretty corny lines. But one of them was her line was have fun. Like, I only gave her one line on purpose because they're trying to market towards dads for this certain product that we were selling. So the mom didn't need many lines. She just had to have like, she could have like the button or whatever. Like she could have a little thing. But the dad was the one that we're marketing to. So she gave me like such a good response to like not having any lines really. She had the one line, and we had an issue with like looking at an object. They all need to look at an object at a certain time. And to me, like in the camera, it wasn't selling that that's what was happening because the eye line was strange. So she says, she tells me like, well, what I'm doing is I'm like looking at everybody and like paying attention to what's going on, so that like because I wasn't looking at her at all. I was looking at the speaking roles. And so I go back and look, and I'm like, that is a great choice. What do you do with no lines? You feed the story. So even she wasn't, hey, can I get more lines? Hey, what if I said this? Like she wasn't doing. She was going, let me go by the script, and let me do what the script doesn't say, but I know the script wants me to do. That was so awesome. My oversight in that made her be an actor, be a pro. You know, I think being a pro at something isn't like, hey, let's start this new thing. I think being a pro at something is when you're 2 years into that new thing and you go, let's keep doing this new thing. When you're exhausted and you're still doing it, your muscle memory is going to speak for how much of a pro you actually are. So no matter what that is, if you're a boxer like you like talking about, if you're a jogger or anything like that, it's not about the first round. It's about that 12th round, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Can you go the distance?
Yep.
Fuck him, but Logan Paul went the distance with that fucking guy, Floyd Mayweather. Isn't it crazy that I remembered Logan Paul's name, but not Floyd Mayweather? And also, this is so loaded, I'm sorry I brought it up.
Yeah, I have a very interesting relationship with those two gentlemen, the Paul brothers.
Do you know Jake Paul? I feel like you know Jake Paul. No, you don't.
No.
Okay.
No. I have very interesting thoughts on both of them. But maybe we'll leave that till after we continue the discussion on what
we can talk about the Paul brothers right now. Yeah.
No, I want to make sure we hit upon what we left off of.
All right, here's what we left off on. What we left off on was me talking about. First, I watched the Matrix, the Glitch in the Matrix.
Yes.
A movie called Glitch in the Matrix. It's about simulation theory, and it was on. Is this like a new episode, or is this like?
No, it's the same one.
Continue. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then I was like such in a hole that somehow I just like feeling that like sort of ethereal documentary feel, like I wanted that, and so I went to this show called like Life After Life or something. I really don't know if it's called that, but if you just Google reincarnation Netflix show, it'll come up. It's one of the episodes in the series, and it's about reincarnation. There's these children. There's this guy who studies children that have very vivid memories about their life that is not their current life. And so they have like 3 or 4 different kids that they go to. And so they go to, and the thing is, they have footage from like 20 years ago when the kid was 3, and they have interviews and stuff like that. And then now today, 20 years later, interview them as an adult, and like, what were you thinking? How much do you feel about that? So you're, again, to bring it back, you were talking about the Mr. Parkinson's from TikTok,
yeah,
who makes these Tesla coils and feels really connected with the 20s.
Yeah.
He may be connected with the 20s because that's where his past life was. So there's one where there's this like Hollywood star. So it's like this. So it's this kid who's like 4 years old or something like that, and he just is talking about, I used to be this guy, and they don't know who the fuck he's talking about. One day they're just watching like this old movie on old real Hollywood picture type of movie from like the 40s, 50s, and he's pointing at one of the actors, and he's like, that's me. And they're like, what? And they look up this guy. I forget his name, but it's very basic Hollywood. And then they look up all about this guy, and they before telling him what the information about his like person who he thinks he is, this kid is spouting off all these things that are true about this guy. And then they go through and like try to look up family. So they, over time, this kid is like saying random stuff about who he used to be. They write down all these facts, like 200 different facts. And they're so specific. Like, he had a daughter. His daughter had a dog. Daughter did not like the dog. Like, that's very specific, you know. Had multiple wives. Was friends with this person. Was friends with this political figure. Used to go to this place. All these things written down. The parents call the dad, or the existing relative, which I think is his daughter, and run down this list. And big majority of them were correct. Very uncanny. It was insane. And there's more examples like this in this episode where kids actually have these ideas about who they used to be. And so this guy comes and he goes, okay, here's this picture and this picture. Because let's say like this, there's another kid, right? The other kid thinks that they used to be like this, it's a white kid and he's like, used to be this black girl, right? So, and she's like, I died because of this. This was my name. This is my mom's name. And so they research this actual person. Turns out it is a real person. Turns out they did actually die. So they bring two options, like in print, in photos, and they show two photos to the kid, and they go, which one do you know? And they point at the mom. Dad. Two photos of the dad. Different photo. One's fake. One's like not the real dad. One's the real dad. Mm-hmm. This kid gets all of them right. Every one of them. Even the playground they used to go to. Everything is right. I mean, it's fucking insane. It made me go, I don't know anything now. It almost is like, you can't just go to work after that. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I gotta go to work and do my job now. Like, no, like something else bigger is happening. What the fuck? Reincarnation?
What, then you're familiar with how they find the next Dalai Lama, right? Or certain masters.
Pretend I know nothing about this.
So they make the caretakers basically have certain objects that the Dalai Lama or a Tibetan master or a Buddhist master had, you know, like let's say a shawl or some kind of drum. And they would look to signs during their death and their ashes onto where they were going to be reincarnated next. And, you know,
they look for a sign in thetheir ashes?
In their ashes, yeah. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting process.
Okay.
If you want to learn more about it, just YouTube it. YouTube is the best thing for this kind of stuff. You'll figure it out. And they'll show you documentary on it. And so they'll bring these objects to a kid, which they have these like signs. I don't know how they figure out where the signs are. I don't know. But then they'll bring out not like one or just two objects. It's like 7 or 8 objects.
Oh.
And there's like multiple tests they have to go through. So it becomes the kind of thing where it's not like a 50-50 once or twice. It's the numbers become so astronomical where you're like, okay, there's definitely some truth to this. Otherwise, the chances of this happening are so astronomical. There's no way that this is true. I have known a friend growing up who remembered his past life. I won't bring up his name. He remembered how he died. His friend accidentally shot him, killed him. He went back to the family, told them this was me, blah, 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 blah. He had to cut off ties with that family because they were getting too connected and too attached to him. And it was I think it began weighing on him a little bit. And so he just cut off ties with them. Imagine how heavy that is. Your entire identity. Like, for instance, you know, me, I'm Wesam Quiche in this lifetime. I have a certain amount of identity based on what my parents have raised me in, my circumstances, my, my surroundings. All make up your identity.
Yeah.
Now, imagine adding another completely separate identity to yourself and that you remember.
Well, then what drives the current you now?
Exactly. Who are you?
Yeah.
What are you?
Who are you?
Not just who are you, what are you?
Yeah, what are you?
So, of course, you can't go back to work in a normal way.
Yeah.
These stories of reincarnation, it's amazing how people brush them aside. Because you're right. You can't go to work the next day normally. Unless you're just like, you know what, this is too heavy for me. I'm just going to, that's crazy. All right, going to go back to my life. Like, That's the only explanation. It becomes too heavy for the person, or they just completely deny it, say, oh, there's a way to make, they're lying, or it's a scam. And I tell people, okay, debate this, for instance. Man, he hits his head. He has some kind of head accident. All of a sudden, speaking fluent Chinese. Or you have a baby growing up.
Are those real, though?
Yes.
They're real?
They are real. And these are two different circumstances. You have a guy gets in a head accident, right? All of a sudden, he's fluent in Chinese. Now, the chances of him being a con artist, I'm not going to lie to you. Of course, there's a possibility for that happening. There's a possibility. I'm not going to deny that. But a kid growing up in like England, and then all of a sudden he's growing up saying Chinese words because somebody at a Chinese restaurant goes, oh, yeah. That he's speaking Chinese.
Is that the only language that people get when they have head accidents?
I don't know. No, that'd be funny.
Yeah, that'd be a great premise or something. Yeah.
But they're knowing now that DNA holds some type of memory, and they're not exactly sure how that works. And if reincarnation is real, we're assuming that it is with all this evidence that has come out, then the soul must be real. So somehow the soul is transitioning memories into some people while some people aren't remembering those memories. However, if a certain brain injury happens, boom, all of a sudden, whoa, I can play the piano. I've never touched the piano before. How is that possible? Yeah. Seriously, how is that possible? Unless you knew it in a past life and that DNA memory somehow gets unlocked in your brain and it's able to translate the necessary information to your synapses and to your nervous system, to your fingers, so that you can play. How the fuck does that happen without reincarnation being the answer, dude?
I mean, it's hard to just sort of like arbitrarily answer that, but I'm like a little bummed right now.
Oh my god, why are you bummed?
No, I'm not bummed. I'm bummed. What happens is when like if one of those things is true, almost everything in the world is different now.
Of course.
And like, everything. Like, we almost don't even need a president anymore. Type of different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's because you're a good person.
Yeah. What?
Like,
what do you mean?
This is what I mean by that. You understand the heaviness of it. At least at the very face value of it, you're like, whoa, this changes how I deal with. We don't need a president because I realize I can be born into this family. I realize I can have like. I'm connected with everyone. Why should I? Well, I can't. I don't need to have laws or whatever to like.
Yeah.
Tell me not to do this to harm another person or all this corrupt laws, this corrupt government that we have because you realize, oh, we're all connected. That's the basic. And I know that sounds so hippy dippy.
No, the empathy comes flooding through for sure. But then also like think about if like an afterlife got proven to humans. The suicide rate would be through the roof. If I can't even say I would never commit suicide if I guaranteed myself if I was guaranteed an afterlife. Do you know what I'm saying?
If you, that now that's tricky. Are you saying they just want to kill themselves because they're like, oh, I'll go on to my next life?
Yeah,
that's risky because.
So like, would we even want? You don't even know the rules
yet.
Yeah, you don't know what life. You might have a shit life after this.
Exactly. So that's a high risk you're playing.
But you know that people will play that.
I think
like half of America isn't even vaccinated, so and they're like going out. I have friends that go to bars and they're unvaccinated. They're not.
But they'll take the antibodies if they get sick with the same science from a doctor.
The same science.
Yeah. That's the stuff that drives me up a fucking wall. I have more respect for the people who are like, I don't do any modern medicine. Because at least they've gone, you know what? All right, balls to the wall, one direction. This person is contradicting themselves, and they either not aware of it, or they're choosing not to be aware of it.
I love people that are down for their shit. Like I like, dude. Even if something annoys the fuck out of me, I have a friend. She changes the song every fucking 30 seconds, when she's been drinking.
Oh, okay.
So she'd be drinking. Oh, I want to hear this song. Let me change the song. Change the song. Great. The first chorus hits. Let me change the song. Like, all right, dude, but stop. Like, don't touch things anymore. But she did that one time, and I texted her the next day. Yeah, you kept changing the fucking song, and she was like, "Yeah, that's what I do." Like, have you met me? Yeah, of course I do that. And I was like, I like it now. I like that you did that now. Now I like it because she's just down for her shit. Like, it sucks that a lot of people, when they get criticized in any way, they just sort of shrivel. And that's not their fault, but they shrivel. But if they were just be like, that's what I do. Like I brought this up before on my podcast, but like even if racists were just like, well, yeah, I'm fucking racist, so I don't like those.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's an amount of respect you give to the outright racist person because you know they're not going to backstab you with like, oh, I'm not racist, and then they're doing racist shit. That's a whole different ballgame. I understand with that because at least you know where this person stands.
Yeah, right. It makes sense.
You're
not being gaslit. You don't feel fucking crazy.
Exactly. That's why politicians drive me fucking crazy. Not just politicians, mega church pastors.
Oh boy.
Let me tell you something. Oh man, talk about corrupt people. Listen, if I'm not saying you can't be a man of God or a good person and be rich. I'm not saying that. But if you're preaching from the holy book or a holy book, and I'm not talking about just megachurch pastors, but like let's say really popular imams, right? Or
what is an imam?
Like for Muslims, they're the people who like give the sermons and stuff.
Sorry, I don't know that.
That's okay. Or rabbis, right? And you're living, and you're living a lavish lifestyle. You're living in a mansion where it takes a while to get to the other side of your home.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I burped. Sorry. I'm sorry. I want to say sorry to everyone because I definitely did that. And I thought it was going to be quieter, and it wasn't quieter.
I knew this was happening.
I know. Well, you brought bubbly beer. What am I supposed to do?
This is classic John Ryan.
Well.
Oh, hey, guys. I'm John Ryan. Sorry. Hey, I'm John. I keep burping.
Hey, man.
That was spot on impression, by the way.
That's what I do. I'm down for my shit. I burp inside the fucking microphone. Inside of it. I go inside of it and I burp.
Savage.
Thanks.
Such fucking bullshitters, these mega church pastor guys.
Yeah.
Because they know you believe in heaven? You believe in heaven, right? You believe in heaven. Why are you living heaven right now? Imagine how many people they could help with the mansions. I'm not saying live in a shack. Don't live in a shack. But you're telling me you have a mansion worth over $10 million and that's okay with you?
It's a bit much.
You have private jets. You have a car collection. Fuck off. You know why I know they're bullshitters? Because that's all I do for a living. I act for a living. I know they're acting.
You know they're acting. Yeah.
I can see it.
Can you see? Is it bad acting?
It's not bad acting. It's good acting.
That makes it worse, kind of.
Because they're practicing it daily. Fuck all of them.
Yeah.
I will never shake one of their hands because they are knowingly corrupt people who con other people. I don't care if they have their little charities and they help people. They're still living the lavish lifestyle. You're saying you're a man of God? I've met real men of God, and I felt like ants. I felt like an ant in front of a king.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating. I left crying meeting these people, and I'm going, I don't know why I'm crying. I was so ashamed to meet this person.
Yeah.
I felt like he could see through all my sins, not in this lifetime. Dude, I'm going to get emotional, but in all my lifetimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, and this man, I met him in Syria. I'll never forget this man. It was one of the most beautiful moments of my life because I walked in and he was this old man, so frail in a bed. And I saw him and I immediately put my hands in front of myself and I was like, and I greeted him and I was like, hi, I'm just asking you to pray for my family. I gave a little donation and his caretaker took it because he doesn't need money. He just gives all the money away.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what money, he doesn't understand money. I mean, he understands it, but he doesn't. No, money is not. And he could barely talk, but when he recited prayers, he spoke so smoothly. And I left going, I'm not a good person. That's a good person.
Do you think that those are also, it's hard for me to see somebody get emotional and not get emotional, so sorry for perpetuating.
No, it's okay. It's something special that happens. It's real.
It's yeah. I so with do you want to be that good person though? Do you want to be like that?
Yeah, man. I don't want to. Here's. I want to be a good person. This weighs heavily on me. This is a personal thing and a personal dilemma that I have. I set my standards so high because I see what a real good person is, and I know I'm capable of that, and that's the thing that breaks my heart sometimes.
It's just is being a good person though, a guy in Syria that doesn't touch money?
No.
So a good man, good person.
Good person.
What would be like the top 5 things that makes up a good person?
First of all, I think you need honesty. Not just telling people the truth, but with yourself.
Yeah.
Because we lie to ourselves sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Second, a life of service is so important.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying this is going to be different for everybody, but there is a certain amount of ethics I think a person needs in their life. I'm not saying everybody needs to be holy men. I'm not ever saying everybody needs to abstain from like sexual things or abstain from things that like alcohol or smoking and stuff like that. I'm not saying you're a bad person if you do any of that stuff, but there's a certain amount of discipline with those kind of things, and being in control of them so they don't control you is super important.
Do you think that there's a difference between altering body and altering mind or soul?
They could be connected.
Well, they're definitely connected. So, okay, that makes sense then. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Dude, I had like an experience. I know this is a little bit going away, but it's I used to skate all the time. And when junior high, I used to go to a mega church. And the mega church is called the Crossroads Christian Church in Corona, California. And I used to go there for youth group.
Yeah.
But across the street was a skate park where all my friends would go. So we would all say we're going to youth group and then just go skate. But, I'm not religious. Like, even back then I was like, I think I'm done with this. I think skating's fun. More fun. But I was hanging out with this kid, and he was really cool, but he was smoking, and I was like, why are you doing that, man? Like, you shouldn't be smoking. And he was like, do you think because you don't smoke, you're going to get a higher place in heaven than me? And I was like, I don't know why I fucking think of that till today. But I think that if I were religious, that that wouldn't affect it. You know what I mean? Does that mean you're getting a higher place? Which means it comes down from your value to God. Like, is your value to God less because you smoke cigarettes and damage your body?
See, that's an issue that I have with, because they don't explain it in a correct way to people in terms of your relationship with God.
Okay, yeah.
That's what this is. The basis of all the major religions, from Hinduism, Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, the creator of all, like being one with everything. Okay.
Yeah.
It's at the foundation. It's, hey, what's your relationship to God? Now, immediately they start teaching you in certain extremist churches and religious groups, don't smoke, don't drink, don't do this, don't do this. Why? You'll go to hell. Well, you're a smart person. You're like, well, I'm just enjoying myself. How is this affecting anything? Those type of don't do this, don't do that, don't smoke, don't drink, I think it's for the person who's more evolved into their lifestyle, and a person who's like, you know what? My relationship with God right now is at its next level, and that's something I can only speak with personally. I'm trying to respect my body as much as possible. I'm trying to keep it going for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Smoking's kind of harming it. I think I'm just going to cut back on the smoking a little bit because, you know what? I'm really thankful for these lungs. I'm really thankful for this body. I got to keep it in tip-top shape.
I see.
That makes more logical sense.
I see, yeah.
And that's because God gave us a brain. You're saying God wouldn't want you to use your logic on certain things?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it also depends on if you believe in God and what God is to you. It's just like you're saying.
Exactly. And by the way, for just on the record, I don't believe God is a man on a throne somewhere.
Oh, he's not a white guy with a beard that has
no. Yeah,
really good
abs.
really good like dick muscles.
It drives me crazy because imagine the creator of all things is something that you can't comprehend. Islam has a great way of describing the creator, and they give like 100-something names to the creator. There's no it's not a him, it's not a her. He's outside of that.
God, yeah.
Because of course, if you believe that, you know Hermes Trismegistus.
No.
Hermes thrice great. He's this pre-Egyptian philosopher who basically set the foundation for a lot of Egyptian thought and the basis of Greek philosophers as well.
Okay.
He has this beautiful poem to the creator of all things. And he mentions the creator, and of course this has been translated from Egyptian to Greek to Latin to English. So translation's not all there.
Okay.
Excuse me. And he describes the creator as the all.
That's great. Honestly, if it was called the all, I would believe in the all. Because you can't not believe in the all. It's called the all. That's so good.
Because it's all from the all.
Dear all,
because we're
who
from
art
the
in
all.
heaven.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because people immediately go, well, all this bad shit has happened to me, and horrific shit has happened to me, and that's the dichotomy of this fucking life.
Yeah,
that's the universe we live in, and it's hard to understand that, and I'm still trying to develop that understanding. But anyway, the poem, the way it ends, is so beautiful. He basically says this philosopher says. He goes on and on he's saying, how do I describe you who is infinite? How do I even start to profess my love and thankfulness for existing? And then he finally says, I can't. So I'm just going to sit in silence as the angels sing a hymn of silence. And it's just silence.
Yeah.
Like,
that's great. That's great shit. Because it's true. It's almost like, I think that people underestimate. I dated this British girl for a little while, and I learned something from it. But so she was all right. She was fine.
Yeah.
But she was very boring and very like, I don't know, just strange kind of, boringly strange. And one thing that she enjoyed was sitting in silence. Now, we had just started dating. Maybe like even now that I'm with my girlfriend now for like 20 years. What the fuck was I about to say? That would have been with my girlfriend for 1 year.
You're
drunk?
I'm not drunk, but I'm so buzzed right now from those 2 ciders.
Oh, my guy doesn't drink.
I'm having such a good time with you, man.
Well, this is my third, so
all right, I gotta catch up.
This is like fresh too, so like we're on the same.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, brother.
Hey. Yeah.
Super good to see you. I was very happy to be hit up by you. I didn't even know you were gonna be in town and all that.
I was really nervous to come over.
Why?
I don't know why. I was just nervous because I just wanted to be good, and I wanted our talk to be really good for some reason. And
same. Honestly, I almost had a drink before you came over. I wasn't like necessarily nervous to like meet you. I knew that you were cool. I knew that you liked me. I knew that I liked you. I thought it would be like I thought we'd be friends. It wouldn't be a big deal. But it's also like there's not a lot of meeting a new person lately for me in person. So for me it was a little bit more like, oh shit, I got to be on, I got to be funny, I got to be interesting, I got to like perform this podcast. But like it's great. I feel like we don't really need that idea to like perform and feel something, feel like pursuit of whatever the fuck to retain listeners or whatever. I think we're just having a great time.
Same.
Anyway, so what was I talking about?
I talked about the all sitting in silence.
Oh my all. That's what I'd rather say.
Yeah.
Well, what I will say that I totally forgot that I was gonna say was it's with the idea of simulation theory too, it kind of I'm quoting this from a friend who read the book, but he said that there's a passage in an Italo Calvino book about what this life is, and this life is just as similar as going to a library and picking up a book and reading it and going, I think I'm done with that book. Then you could go in another book and read that book. And this is the same thing as simulation theory combined with reincarnation. So, burp it out, baby.
Excuse me.
No, it's all good. I'll burp with you. We can burp.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like I've always felt this where it's like there's just got to be more. There's no way that this is it. In a weird way, for a while, it made me not afraid of death. Which can be very dangerous. If you're truly not afraid of death, it's fucking dangerous. You start thinking about suicide. You start thinking about these are just thoughts, obviously, but you start thinking about well, what if I just killed somebody? Wow, Wesam. I wonder if anyone will hear that.
I don't know.
Yeah, a little belly frog going on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Talk about all this serious shit.
Yeah. Dude. I don't want to like bounce around too much, but hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
The so reincarnation and stuff like with I like the idea of what Italo Calvino said about what this life could be, just like a library, picking up a book, reading it, and that's why we die at certain ages. And people are like, "Why'd they die so young?" And it's like, "Well, I was done with the book." I think for me, I got to do more research into this, but what I would rather this life be. So that's the way I think of it. Things, by the way, I don't think of it as like this is what I believe, because you can't believe something really. You could do your best to be like I'm pretty sure that's the one, but you can't. Anyway, I would prefer it be simulation theory with the ability of reincarnating, some sort of like option in. So what if I were to ever pray to God? I'm not praying to a white man with a beard. I'm praying to myself who's controlling me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So whoever's controlling me is going to be me. And we are all gods somewhere. And whenever you pray, you're praying to your fucking person holding the sticks to do the thing that you want them to do. Right? Mm-hmm. So I've always felt that I'm praying to my greater self to pull myself out of something that's bad. You know?
I'm sorry, were you finished?
I could talk for a long time, but no, I was finished, yeah.
Have you heard of Plato's allegory of the cave?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Yeah, for our listeners who don't know what that is, it's basically this great allegory which Plato talks about, in which if you were chained in a cave where you couldn't move your head left or right, and you were born in this cave and you were chained, and you saw shadows on the wall that were projected, and you never were able to look back at the shadows or everything like that, you would think that those shadows were real, right?
You would think that's what you were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You would think that this is the world I live in, and everybody. You couldn't even look at the people left or right. You would just think, oh, this is the shadows, I'm a shadow, everything, you know? And what if you were able to break free from those chains? You would see the people who were in control of the shadows. You would see the other people chained up. That would mess with your mind. And you're like, well, I got to get out of here. And then you would find the entrance to the cave, and it would be so blinding light as you left the cave. It would take a little bit for your eyes to adjust, but then you would see the real world outside of that cave.
Yeah.
And he describes that is the world we live in. There is a lot of Buddhist texts that speak of similar things. There's lots of the Hindu epic, the Bhagavad Gita. I always get this name wrong, and I want to say it fucking right once on this podcast.
Can I say it?
Yeah.
Can you say it, and then I'll say it? Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad. Can you do it do it like heavy accent?
Okay, hold on.
Like heavy, like proper.
Okay, here we go. Let's hear it on the how to pronounce.
How do you say it? Bhagavad Gita, often referred to as
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, and they talk about the same thing.
I speak that language, whatever that is.
Hindu.
I speak that.
So I agree with you. The world we live in is not the real and final reality of things.
Yeah.
It's all transient. Everything.
Yeah.
Even everything's a rental. Even the relationships you have in this life are a rental. They all go away.
Yeah. It's so regular and it's just like too simple. But my friend told me something one day. And I mean, this was before like this sort of new age hippie wave, you know, that's definitely hit us in the last 6 years. But he said everything's temporary. And it's always blown my mind that like I never thought of things that way. You know what I mean? Everything's a rental is another way to think of it for sure.
Yeah.
But it's strange that everything's temporary. We forget, and there's another thing like when Charlie Murphy died. Neil Brennan posts about it, and in his caption he said, "We forget that this shit ends." And I like things putting in terms that I can understand, and so when he had posted that, that's how I think of this now. This shit ends.
Yeah.
And like we spent so much time, well, relative time, because what the fuck is time, right? We spent so much relative time to our human bodies developing what this is. I mean, I spent so much time setting all this shit up, like screwing these in, like getting it wrong, like doing the lights, like everything. And for it to end is like, it feels like a tragedy, but just like everything, we forget that it's about something starting.
It feels like a tragedy because our relationship with the things, in my opinion.
The things.
We don't see them as tools for a greater good. We see them as sources of, this is a home base. This is a safety. This is a place that brings me true happiness. This is, there's like a refuge. Yeah, refuge. You know?
Yeah.
We don't see them as, okay, why am I so attracted to my Tesla? Why do I like my Tesla so much? It's a tool that's reliable to get me from point A to point B, and I get a little bit of a recharge every time I go into it from my soul. So that's why I like it. If it goes away, that's fine. But that's my relationship with that, and I'm thankful in this lifetime that I'm able to have that tool. I'm thankful for my M1 MacBook because it didn't take 2 hours for me to upload the footage, so that way we can go right into a conversation. I'm thankful for that. Oh my God, I love Apple. Anything Apple does is great.
Oh, I see.
Shifting that thinking
Right.
of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Your relationship with your lady. Wow, this fellow soul is helping me evolve and my way of thinking and expand myself in a positive way. Wow. I want to share the rest of my lifetime, however long that is, with this person. Wow. This is a great rental for this lifetime.
It's a great rental. I mean, that's like a...
And I know that sounds so, but it's the truth.
No, but it's the truth. And
you have to embrace it.
Well, people think that rental means that in like a week or a month, but because that's how we're used to using that term. We're using, most of us are used to the idea of like movie rentals.
Right.
So like, or car rental, but like, no, rental could mean 75 years. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's weird. I'd mentioned before that like my girlfriend sort of like taught me how to love, and it makes me kind of think like, oh shit, I've been doing this wrong the entire time. I want to go back and say I'm sorry to all the people that like I promised this thing to that I didn't know what I was saying. It's very strange, love, because you think that you're really giving someone something by saying a thing, but words are very cheap. It's almost like if you could, if it cost $2,000 or whatever it takes people a long time to save, if it costs $5,000, whatever, it costs a certain amount of money to be able to start telling someone you love them, people wouldn't throw that word around so much, right? I mean, I know people that have thrown around like, 2 months in, a month in. Like, that's fucking too soon, it seems like there should be. It's almost like the same thing with like having a kid. I think like not everyone should have kids. I think they should prove that they should have kids. Why? You know what I mean? Like, not everyone should just be like, yeah, let me just have a kid and like treat it like shit. And that's like now it's a really bad, member of society. We have license. This is like an old argument, but like we have licenses to have cars and drive. We should have licenses to have other things. Obviously, that's like it gets too dystopian at a certain point.
Right.
But I'm not saying we need licenses to like do things like that, but there's something. You know what I mean? I should have to go to the love bank and pay $2,000, $5,000, or whatever it is to go, hey, I want to start telling my girlfriend that I love her, and this is how serious I am. Money, whatever it is. It seems too easy that I can just say these words, and then now all of a sudden it's all different.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
So when I used to say it to these girls that I was in love with back then, I just feel bad for ever doing that. I lied. I don't know if I lied, but I didn't lie. I more just like said what I thought at the time.
You didn't know.
I didn't know.
You didn't know. And I know there's a good person in there, John, because you want to make it right.
Yeah, it's almost like when you get sober and you have to go make amends with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's like I got fucked by sober. Wait, hold on. You didn't laugh. Let me do it again. It's like I got fuckboy sober.
It's a little funny.
Thank you. I'll take that
the
one.
Delivery's okay. But
I was drunk on fuckboy.
yeah. Who isn't? By the way, what is that? The study shows that your brain isn't fully developed till 25, right? I wish I went back.
Well, men, for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Men at least.
At least 25.
Yeah. Women much earlier, I feel like. I don't know this, but a little bit earlier.
I think it is a little bit earlier from that. But for like just to be safe, it's 25 for most people.
Okay.
And I remember when I hit around 25, 26 or whatever it was, I was like, whoa, something's changing in here. I see everything a little differently. Mm-hmm. My grandpa, another pious man, used to say something which I didn't really get. And he was at a high level of piety, especially towards the end of his life.
Mm-hmm. What's pi?
Piety?
What is that word?
Like being pious, being oh my gosh, like holy. Holy.
Okay.
Yeah, devout to religion, devout to, a connection with the higher all. Okay, basically.
Gotcha.
High ethics, high morality value. You know what I mean? Like just straight-laced all the way because they want to be like that.
Yeah.
And that's one of my grandpa. And he said something once. He's like, you should never be attached to anything in this lifetime. And I thought he was talking about like material things. And I was like, yeah, of course. He's like, but even your relationships, even your wife. And I was like, what do you mean by that? He's like, I'm not saying don't love your wife, but don't be attached because she will die someday. And your identity is not attached to your wife.
Well, okay, I'm listening.
And his piety came with his connection with the all.
Right, okay.
Because I see a lot of people whenever their partners pass.
What's the downside to being so attached?
You feel like the world is ending. You put your identity into that person. You feel like, oh, I can't live my life anymore. Life is not worth living. You can go down a steep route that way.
Okay.
I think there's some middle ground, of course. I'm not saying like, okay, they're dead. All right, on to the next. Not saying that. Right. But when you first hear that, it sounds like that, doesn't it?
Oh, so there's a maturing of how that sounds.
Of course.
Okay, gotcha.
It's not like when your wife dies, you kill yourself, because that's not good either.
Yeah.
There's a higher level.
Unless it's reincarnation, then you got a little Romeo and Juliet situation going on.
Yeah.
Which
that is one of the most insane emo stories ever. Right? They're like, by the way, they're what, 16 and 12 in that?
Oh, something crazy like that. Yeah. I believe it's definitely not 18. So,
no.
Yeah.
And when you realize that, you're like, oh, no wonder they went off the rails. They're like the most emo kids ever.
Yeah, they're probably listening to like, Taking Back Sunday and like, Thursday and just.
Yeah. My Chemical Romance all the way.
By the way, I fuck with emo shit still. I like pretty often. Like I was having a shitty day. I know you say you don't drink very much, but I drink very much on the weekends especially. And I'll go hard because like I have a fucking
I just downloaded it just as a little reminder.
Oh, dude. So I was having a shitty day. So like normally my days of dread are Monday because it's my body's chemicals rebuilding. And I'll have like very dark thoughts and very like existential crises and like, but I now know that like it's just because I like didn't rest on the weekend. I did way more on the weekend than I do on the week and during the week. And it's just my way of sort of like kind of release, let go, whatever, forget, go dance, be merry, whatever. But Monday comes around and I'm fucked. I can work, I can do all these things. I can do all these like, second nature skills, but I sit down for a second, I get a moment of silence, and I'm like, so I'm just like born, so I'm just like die, like I start doing that, you know what I mean? So everyone I know is just gonna die, and then like what am I left with? You know what I mean? Like all these dark thoughts kind of, and but I just know that it's my chemicals are out, my chemicals are gone, my chemical romance. But but what happened the other day was I put on some emo music while I was feeling like that, and I lit the fuck up. And what it is like that music is made for kids going through puberty, basically, that fucking feel like I just live and I just die and my parents are gonna die but I hate them and like so and so cheated on me, but then like this other girl's interested in me. Like this is so confusing and not knowing who the fuck you are, and also trying to get good grades for no reason. Well, some sort of reason, but the music is just formulaically made for that feeling. So I started every Monday at least like listening to all my fucking greatest hits of that time.
Wow.
And it helps so much. Like if I'm ever in that space, I just listen to that, and I'm like air guitar, dude. I'm like, I just had such an impact that was put upon me from that time that I put that shit on. It's like medicine.
It sounds to me like it's an expression. It's a release of some sort.
Cathartic.
Very.
Yeah.
Two things that pop up into my head when you say that parallel for me. David Cho just posted something. You know David Cho, the artist?
Great show. He did a great show. Yes, I know David Cho.
Yeah.
You seen his show?
Yeah. I seen one episode. It's very, very honest, and I love that. It's as honest as it gets. I'm jealous of how honest he can be on camera. Because we just said some stuff together off camera because we're like, oh, we can't say that on camera. Jealous of comedians, and that's why I love comedians who are so honest with their life. I never judge a comedian in a negative way who is sharing personal stuff about their lives.
Listen, that's the art form, and that's why people they misconstrue the idea of somebody having honest thought and sharing it with people, and what people should see that as is an incredible amount of trust in who they're telling it to. And when they get outed for them trying to work through this thought to elicit laughter, that's really fucked up. That's almost like people don't understand that comedy's almost like a therapy session for that comic. How can I make sense of this fucked up dumb thing that I'm thinking to make people agree within laughter that now I don't feel alone. It's almost like every time they get a laugh, they just feel less alone. And it's the same thing with any good art. When you are vulnerable enough and put it out and it's received well, is everyone is essentially going, I agree with this. That I feel that too, So that's why my whole thing with like, that monologue that the guy has. By the way, he's talking to his therapist, and at the end, the therapist is like, all right, well, that's our time, thanks, and like doesn't respond. You don't get anything. But having really dumb thoughts about like, I have these dumb thoughts all the time that like mathematically make sense. Like if trauma therapy works and homophobia is a fear,
Yeah.
it should be treated like other fears. Otherwise, we're calling it a different thing. Like that's just the math. Like homophobics just need to be like exposed to gay people or to LGBT community, and then like, but that's not how it works because they're not homophobic. They're bigots. You know, they're a hatred group, which is not what a phobia is.
I got to comment on that, but let me go back to
Again,
the
that's
David
just
Cho.
a thought. I don't even know how right I am.
No.
Yeah.
It's just a thought. The David Cho thing. He posted something where he said he's changing his perspective on the way he says, "Oh man, I got to do this painting today," or "Oh man, I got to do."
I get to.
Yeah, you saw that.
Well, a lot of people have said this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I just saw it from David Cho. I don't know where he got it from, but I got it from David Cho.
I've heard this from like several artists.
Instead of saying, "Oh man, I have to work out today,"
Yeah.
I get to. I have the opportunity. I have the ability
Yeah.
to go run 200 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
Wow. If that doesn't empower you, are you alive?
Al Pacino. Wow. 200 flights of stairs. I can't do an impression, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Another thing, which has helped me, David Goggins is not for everybody. I get that, but
Loves the
sometimes
Davids.
it's good for you. A little David Goggins is good for you.
A lot of people ask me how I got in fucking shape. I'll fucking tell you how. You stop being fucking fat and you get up and you run and don't fucking stop. Stay hard. That's his whole. That's all.
Stay
his
hard.
things.
I
Yeah.
love how you stay hard. He said, your feelings don't matter, and it's true sometimes. Your feelings don't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't feel like writing that report. You don't feel like going to work. Oh, guess what? Your feelings at this moment don't matter because they're not benefiting you, John Ryan, for the long term.
Right.
So the way you feel right now doesn't matter. It's what's important for the long term.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically like if you just put yourself on progression mode,
Yeah.
right? And you don't. Yeah.
You gotta find, man. This is a Wesam thing. You gotta find that inner berserker mode where you just click it, and it's inner berserker. You know what? Life isn't going great for me. And by the way, I know what I post sometimes. People think, "Oh man, Wesam lives a really free form." No, I like a really great life, no problems. No, I choose what I put out there. I have problems just like the rest of everybody. I'm very blessed in my life, but I've got a lot of personal issues I deal with, a lot of personal demons that I don't talk about on air, a lot of family problems in Syria, a lot of survivor's guilt in the sense that I live such a blessed life, and I've got family who don't live that same life. I deal with a lot of that shit.
Sure.
And so sometimes I have to click into that berserker mode to go, no, I'm going to work out this morning because I've been given the opportunity to work out. I'm going to go and nail this fucking audition because my family is suffering back home in Syria. And people would kill for this audition here. And there are actors out there who don't get to have this audition. I'm going to nail this shooting day because there are so many livelihoods on the line to make sure that I do a good job and that the show continues on and gets good ratings.
Right.
It's not about me anymore. And that's what makes me fight harder. Because it's not about me, Wesam, and this life. Oh, I don't feel like doing. Oh, I don't feel great. Most of the time, I don't feel like doing shit, dude.
Do you ever indulge in the feeling of not wanting to do a thing?
Yeah, after I've worked really hard, and it feels so much better when I do.
Well, it's you get to rest once you're on the top of the mountain, and then you eventually have to go back down, or whatever the analogy you want it to be. But man, I've been really enjoying. Like I said, I gained a little bit of weight recently, and it fucking sucks. Okay. I there's like this new thing that everyone's saying where they're like, hey, I gained weight during COVID, but like I want to work out and diet, but not to look better, to just feel better. No, you want to look better too. It's okay to say you want to look better. It's okay to say that you don't want to look like you gained weight. You don't want to look like more weight than you normally are.
Right.
It's fine to I feel okay I feel better than okay, whatever that is. But I could definitely feel better in life physically. But I think looking better will help it a lot.
Yeah.
I want to look fuckable. You know what I mean?
All right.
That's not crazy to say.
No.
And there's this whole new thing that's going on social media about like, I want to work out to feel better, not to look better. Like, go fuck yourself. You want to look fuckable.
That's not being honest with yourself.
Not being honest.
That's okay. You want to look good? Good. Look good. You'll feel good. You'll do better. But, this is what I say. But, be careful of that balance whenever you're going too far in that direction. Do you see the dangers and the pitfall?
Sure, of course. Yeah.
That's okay. Be honest with yourself. You want to look good. But then be honest with yourself and go, you know what? I think I'm taking it past the healthy limit. Now, that's the next step.
I'm getting way too hot, dude. I got to start eating some burgers. That's what it is.
What? What?
Did I just like say a whole different thing that you were saying?
Yeah. Were you making a joke? I'm so
No.
drunk.
I'm saying that
I'm so drunk.
that's so. This guy had 3 ciders. What are these? Wait, there is alcohol in these.
Oh yeah, it's 6%. It's a lot.
Oh, you've had more than I have.
You've had 3. I'm on 3rd.
But
right?
this is 6.9%. So that's not even that much more. Anyway,
Wow.
what I was saying is it can't go too far the other way. What I was saying was that going far the other way is just getting too hot. I'm way too hot of a guy.
Yes.
Are you spinning?
No. My ears are I'm so hot right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because I'm passionate about what we're talking
Well, we're
about.
already at about an hour. We don't have much time left on these cameras. Do you want to
Should we
just
offload?
wrap it up? Yeah.
Oh, you want to wrap it up? Yeah, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, we can wrap it. I mean, I definitely have to wrap it up in like.
Oh yeah.
But I'm
true.
down to go get if you want to go get some more nerves across the street, hang out for a little bit, and
That sounds good.
then I got to get ready to go meet my
That's true.
girlfriend of 1 year.
This has been absolutely great. Thank you for sharing your studio space and
Of course.
yeah, dude. This is man. I wish we can do this more often. If you lived in LA or if I lived in New York, we'd have to have.
Why
our
don't
own
I just
podcast.
come by every time? I'll let you know ahead of time when I come to LA,
Okay.
and we can do that.
By the way, I'm here for a while for the first week till the first week of September.
Oh well, then let's just do another episode if you have time.
Yeah, we'll just do it next week.
If there's another slot, then I'm down to do it.
Yeah, it's just me, honestly. So yeah, let's do it.
Great.
We'll do it next
I'm so
week.
down.
Hey, if you enjoyed listening, make sure you follow John Ryan. Thank you for everybody who's listened. Play us out, Peyton. Thank you to all of our subscribers. Adobe Radio, Nice Guy Digital. Thank you to Peyton. You do an awesome job, dude. I love you so much. I can't wait to see you in person again. Alexandra, amazing job with the social media. Thank you to all of our listeners, all of our new subscribers. We've been growing every month on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you tune in live on Adobe Radio and tweet at us to make sure we respond back and everything like that. And if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you tell Ryan and on the comments below. Always remember to listen, think, and then talk. Bye.